The Legend of the Saltire. Ian was a young boy who lived in a small village in Scotland. He loved to hear stories about his country's history and culture, especially the ones about St. Andrew, the patron saint of Scotland. He had a picture of St. Andrew in his room, a woodcut that his grandfather had given him. It showed St. Andrew holding a cross and standing in front of a tree. Ian admired the saint's courage and faith, and he wished he could be like him. One day, Ian's grandfather told him that they were going to Edinburgh, the capital city of Scotland, to celebrate St. Andrew's Day. He said it was a national holiday, celebrated on November 30th, and that there would be a lot of fun and festivities. He said they would see the Scottish flag, the Saltire, flying everywhere, and that it was a symbol of St. Andrew and Scotland. Ian was excited and curious. He asked his grandfather what the Saltire was and how it was related to St. Andrew. His grandfather smiled and said, "The Saltire is a white cross on a blue background, and it is also known as the St. Andrew's Cross. It is said that it was inspired by a legend that happened long ago, when St. Andrew was still alive." He then told Ian the legend of the Saltire, as follows. St. Andrew was a fisherman and one of Jesus Christ's disciples. He was crucified on an X-shaped cross, which is now known as the St. Andrew's Cross. He did not consider himself worthy to die on the same type of cross as Jesus, so he asked to be crucified on a different one. Many years later, in the 9th century, a Scottish king named Angus II was leading his army against the invading Angles, tribe from England. He was outnumbered and outmatched, and he feared that he would lose the battle and his kingdom. He prayed to St. Andrew for help, and he vowed that if he won, he would make St. Andrew the patron saint of Scotland. The night before the battle, Angus had a vision. He saw St. Andrew in the sky, holding a cross and smiling at him. He heard St. Andrew's voice, saying, "Do not be afraid, Angus. I am with you, and I will grant you victory. Tomorrow, look for a sign in the sky, and you will know what to do." The next day, Angus and his army marched to the battlefield, where the Angles were waiting for them. Angus looked up at the sky, and he saw a miracle. He saw a white cross, shaped like an X, shining on a blue background. He recognized it as the St. Andrew's Cross, and he knew it was the sign that St. Andrew had promised him. He pointed at the sky and shouted to his men, "Behold, the cross of St. Andrew. He is with us, and he will give us victory. Follow me, and we will defeat our enemies." He and his men charged at the Angles, who were stunned and terrified by the sight of the cross. They thought it was a sign of God's wrath, and they lost their courage and their will to fight. They fled from the battlefield, leaving Angus and his army victorious. Angus kept his vow and made St. Andrew the patron saint of Scotland. He also adopted the St. Andrew's Cross as the symbol of his kingdom, and it became the Scottish flag, the Saltire. It has been the flag of Scotland ever since, and it is a reminder of St. Andrew's help and protection. Ian listened to the legend with awe and wonder. He thanked his grandfather for telling him the story, and he said he couldn't wait to see the Saltire and celebrate St. Andrew's Day. His grandfather smiled and said, "You're welcome, Ian. I'm glad you liked the story. And I'm sure you'll love the celebration. It's a day to honor St. Andrew and Scotland, and to have fun and be proud." They packed their bags and got ready to leave for Edinburgh. Ian took his picture of St. Andrew with him, and he looked at it with admiration and gratitude. He felt a connection with the saint, and he wished he could see him and thank him. He felt a pride and a love for his country, and he wished he could see the Saltire and salute it. He felt a joy and a hope for the future, and he wished he could see the celebration and join it. He looked at his grandfather and said, "Let's go, Grandpa. Let's go and see the Saltire. Let's go and celebrate St. Andrew's Day. Let's go and make our own story." His grandfather nodded and said, "Let's go, Ian. Let's go and see the Saltire. Let's go and celebrate St. Andrew's Day. Let's go and make our own story." They got into the car and drove to Edinburgh. They saw the Saltire and celebrated St. Andrew's Day. They made their own story, and they were happy.